Chapter 3 Reload. Zafxen sits atop an old clock tower looking down at his army working hard, making their compound stronger. He is eagerly awaiting the Green's return that he sent to infiltrate Xizor's ranks. He gathered the intel that Zafxen wanted and is now running in full sprint to his location. My Green shall show me your secret, Xizor. That pulse I felt was incredible, and nothing that makes a noise like that could be weak. I want it. Xizor thought he could outsmart me, but he fell into my trap perfectly. I teleported to Wisconsin with some top-tier soldiers Eddy and I created, all to show Xizor I was there when he reached out. I quickly left back to my home base here, and his stupid Greens are chasing a location with nothing but brutal soldiers waiting for them, while my spies should arrive here shortly. Everything went exactly as Zafxen planned. Zapson even purposely lost in his skirmish in the woods with Xizor to give him a taste of victory and focus on the bigger war ahead. Xizor's pursuit party arrives where Zafxen had teleported to. Awaiting them were 8 massive soldiers, similar to the one that Zafxen and Eddy defeated together. Eddy found a way to recreate soldiers like this that could be controlled. Zafxen's soldiers ripped Xizor's party to shreds. This leaves Xizor without the ability to even know if the party stopped the intel from being leaked or not. I will learn what you have, Xizor. I wonder if you're panicking right now. Zapson stands tall and leaps off the clock tower. Eddy watches in awe from below. Suddenly, Zafxen disappears from midair and is now behind Eddy, making him jump a little. Even with all my intellect, that makes me jump every time. Could you knock it off? Eddy says. Suddenly, the spy Zafxen sent comes running out of the woods in desperation. Calm down, scholar. You are not being pursued, Zafxen says. Oh, I was so focused on getting here I never stopped running. Zapson notices his feet are shredded. You did well. Relax. I will download everything you learned. 35 minutes go by as the Scholar Crown wirelessly downloads all its data into Zafxen's crown. The data he sees makes his eyes widen. What is it, Zafxen? Eddy shouts. Xizor is extremely distracted from the mission, it seems. He has even been reharbored, somehow, onto a new human. Wait, Xizor didn't get purged and reborn? No, he reharbored with a new human without purging. That is impossible, Zafxen, Eddy shouts. Do not question me, I saw it myself. A woman of all things. And somehow she's pregnant. A crowned with a human pregnancy? Everything you're stating goes against my databanks. It cannot be. I know why. The Allfather obviously restricted our studies. We do not hold all the secrets like he did, and we won't until I become the Allfather. Whatever they have that caused that pulse, I need. My intel I just received is dated. Days passed after I had the spy return here. Xizor is clearly up to something and we must find it out. Perhaps you should have kept the spy there longer. I thought of this, oh so critical Eddy. I could not risk returning with nothing if the spy was captured. No, the way this played out is phenomenal. We have the upper edge on Xizor, and the best part is, he has no idea. You don't think Xizor might have predicted this outcome? No. He seems to be smitten with this human of his. Xemezian would be sick. Smitten. Yes, my brother's will is clearly weak and his priorities are not in line with the mission, Zafxen says. Clearly you are the most fit All-Father, Zafxen. Save the flattery, Eddy. Zafxen leaps back to the clock tower and motions Eddy to follow. Eddy reluctantly follows close behind. They both overlook their compound of around 500,000 Greens and 600,000 soldiers, and 1,000 super soldiers. Gather everyone. The time for action is now. Foolish or not, Xizor has something that I must have. We need to make preparations for war. Allow me to look at the data file, sir? Eddy asks. Call me Zafxen. Sir is weird from you. You see, Eddy never actually lost consciousness with the Green Scholar. His natural intellect was a preferable cerebral environment for the Green Scholars in Eddy's crown. How much the crown actually controls Eddy's consciousness is still a mystery. Eddy quickly downloads the data file, learning all of Xizor's escapades quickly. Sire, you saw this same footage, right? Xizor has fought a fearsome foe and managed to bring down a whole state with it. Do you think it wise we challenge them? This is where my leadership intellect comes in. We must strike now. A foe that is left to fester will only come back stronger. It is more wise to smite him now before that chip on his shoulder grows. If he manages to die in the process, I have no qualms rebirthing him with his fluid remaining in the hunter's crowns. Then maybe he will be a bit more obedient to the Allfather. Then we will find the others. Suddenly, a ping starts to go off on Zafxen's crown. What is it, Zafxen? Xemezian is active again. What is that psycho tyrant up to today? Was decimating all those islands not enough trouble? His manic nature worries me most. Xemezian has the mighty Zafxen worried. The others can be forced to submit. Xemezian, I am afraid, could be killed 100 times before he bows to me and gives up his power he's coveted for so long. I don't remember seeing him back home, Eddy says. He was a wild card. We used to have exercises we did to prepare for the invasion. Once the Elder Greens tasked us with a strange test of sorts. We were all to invade a human brain that they somehow procured. They put it in a cryogenic area, but the brain was long dead. The purpose of this was for us to familiarize ourselves with the biology of humans. Talitroux was first inside. Xizor and I reluctantly followed in, but before I went in, I looked over at Xemezian and he was... Suddenly, Zapson notices a strange spark, and he vibrates for a moment. The shock opened Zion's eyes wide for a single moment. Zapson, what was... Do not mind me. I need to go to do some calibrations in the dark room. Can you do as I asked and gather the others? Are you asking or demanding? Be clear with your demands, could you? Does your brazen attitude come from your human or you? I wonder. Zapson leaves and makes his way down a long corridor. I must do my reloads promptly, Zapson says to himself. It is a shame I have to go visit that dreary fool. Zapson arrives at a creepy door at the end of a hallway. He unlatches the door and goes inside, locking it behind him with a large locking mechanism once he gets inside. In the center of the room sits a chair in a pitch-black room. It sits in the ankle-deep blue water, but there is no light in the room whatsoever. Zapson makes his way to the water. He walks in the ice-cold water and works his way to the seat, and he sits down. Suddenly, Zapson is in the chasm, deep within Zion's mind. Hello, human. Are you conscious in here? Zapson asks. Silence fills the air. Zapson walks into the chasm and admires the tree that Zion is bound to. I know you can hear me. Why the silent treatment? Fuck off, Zapson. Zion mutters. What a vile tongue. How dare you speak to me this way? Zapson waits for a reply. I guess that was all the strength that you could mutter up. Well, I came here to inform you that war is coming. So, to better prepare myself, I need to reload you a bunch. You know how it goes. Zion did not reply with words, but with body language. He does his best to squirm in response to Zafxen's words. Whatever this reload is clearly something Zion has experienced regrettably before. Please don't. Zafxen, it hurts. Did you whine this much as a free-walking human? Suddenly, Zafxen opens his eyes in the real world and his body begins to pulse rapidly. Particles phasing off of him as if he were being absorbed into a video game. Zafxen has the ability of the particle, but this power goes beyond the understandings of most. Zafxen, similar to the Miats, can split himself apart into different places. Zafxen's heart could exist outside of his body altogether, granted Zafxen had the mental control to do this. Out of the leader's 4 properties, Zafxen requires the most outright intellect. That stupid Zion complains, but I hate to do this as well. Suddenly, from toe to head, Zafxen's body disappears briefly as it pulses with blue light, like an alien scanner working its way from one side to the other. After the intense pulsing stops, it quickly begins again. Zafxen shakes from the intensity. It is more intense this time. I should run a biometric scan on the crown, but reloading like this is exhausting. I better keep it up, even if it is more intense. Suddenly, Zafxen's body disappears outright, and Zapson is now suddenly propelling in the sky at Mach speeds, but all in separate pieces. What is this? Zapson thinks in fear. With haste, Zapson tries to mentally collect himself. The various flying particles now start to form his former body, but he blinks and he's back in his seat. Was that a vision, or was I really there? I suppose with my power I could have just appeared there, but it felt so astral. Zapson shakes it off and begins doing his reloads again from toe to head. Zapson, please, he says. This reload will do wonders for my power. It will get me better equipped with a particle realm that exists within all things, and override any former existence of Zion, thankfully. I'm sure he hates it so much, since he probably is losing a little of himself every time that I do it. I almost feel bad for him. Meanwhile, Zion screams in agony from the chasm. Its shrill can almost even reach Zafxen's ears, but his weakened body cannot wail for long. The mechanical tree is interwoven into his body. Any attempt of movement would certainly come with pain and agony, even though this tree is metaphorical in Zion's mind and is simply a manifestation of Zion's psyche being so interwoven with Zafxen's now. Xizor will not go down easily, Zafxen thinks to himself. My intricate yet delicate particles versus his smoldering comets. I suppose I could come at this with a different approach. If I were to go there and make my demands, maybe he would hear me out. No, Xizor is more headstrong than that. Stubborn is what humans call it. He probably wants a lot more than he would ever have, or that I would let him have. The question now is a frontal assault with my army versus his. It's just, I want to avoid unneeded deaths of the Miats. Our quarrels can be settled between the two of us. Maybe when we are clashing, I can knock some sense into him. Zapson takes a moment to look around the room. My power has limits, but I must find loopholes. Ways to be stronger. All the other properties are inherently stronger, but with my dedication and will, I will never lose. I must continue practicing. Zapson does another reload. This time Zion's screams even reach Zapson. I will ignore it. I mustn't stop. If I were ever to lead an attack on Xizor and then lose after, I would never be able to show myself again. My nature would not let me. Zapson puts his hands out and shrinks down to the size of a single atom. The puddle he was standing on before has now become a massive choppy ocean for the microscopic Zafxen. Am I even smaller than in my original Miat's form? How long can I maintain this? Zafxen floats aimlessly as the waves slowly calm. I will not get anywhere without some tests. Zafxen begins to emit an orange light from his microscopic crown. Silence fills the air of the room as Zafxen appears to wait for something. Suddenly, 4 wild-looking soldiers bust into the room. Good. Now all of you, try to kill me without holding back. Die as martyrs for the All-Father. Without delay, they all charge the microscopic Zafxen. Too slow, he yells. He leaps from the water and begins to float over it. He charges after one, making the water spray from his fast-moving wake. An orange shrills and steps where Zafxen was, but he vanished. The soldiers frantically look around to see where he vanished to. Suddenly, a water geyser shoots from the water. An orange instantly smashes it, but several other geysers erupt from the water. The oranges frantically try to swat the water away. The oranges inside the crown execute commands when one of them notices a shadowy object inside the crown. It was Zafxen's disembodied hand. Zapson smirks and uses his hand to purge all fluid in the crown. The soldier instantly collapses as orange fluid spews from its mouth, the fluid changing the color of the small puddle in the room's center. The soldiers smarten up and leap from the water. One of them puts their crown into the water and releases a pulse that electrifies it, but fries its own brain in the process. Clever, Orange, Zafxen yells as he leaps from the water. But Zapson stops and looks behind him at the water radiating. Zapson raises his many hands to the sky, and the electrified water follows him, like an army of sparking droplets. I have only considered the possibilities of my complex powers. If I'm discovering this now, I'm not ready yet. I will train daily until I am, Zapson thinks to himself. The 2 remaining soldiers charge Zapson in what seems like slow motion. I can split myself at the particle level in anything that I come in contact with except that of living matter. I can manipulate even these high-voltage water drops at my will if I can focus. The massive soldiers near Zapson. Thank you for your service to the All-Father. Genuinely, Zapson yells as he shoots his hands forward. All the water in the small pond, now in electrified beads the size of marbles, all at once pelt the 2 soldiers, hitting like bullets. The soldiers both begin to seize as the water and electric disrupt key components in the crown. The soldiers desperately try to repair the crown from within, but the critical damages causes them to explode. Shit, Zapson tries to yell, but due to his size, the crown's explosion sends him flying and skipping like a rock. That was careless of me. A simple miscalculation like that could really screw things up, or even get myself killed. These are the kind of exploitations that Xemezian would look for. Suddenly, loud footsteps fill the hallway outside the room. Running? Up here? Everyone knows to leave me be during my reloads. Who would possibly... Xizor frowns as Eddy walks in. Master Zafxen, what were those explosions? That is why you interrupted me? I told you that it might get loud sometimes. But what exploded? Eddy stares down at the dead soldiers. Did you seriously practice on our own soldiers? Do not question my ways. You probably said something like, die for the cause, martyr. He knows me too well. You really are reckless. Do you think Talitroux would make such a blunder? Thin ice, Eddy. Whatever. Can you at least, next time, Eddy pauses to look at the corpses, do some less costly training, please? Fine. Did you do as I directed? Yes, of course. I went to the central tower that I enhanced to send the signal out to all of our compound. Everyone knows we are to have our summit soon. This will be the first summit since the overtaking of this compound. Yes, and our grounds have grown stronger ever since, Eddy says. We cannot afford complacency. The others surely know that the only way to best my intellect is to catch me when my guard is down. A silence fills the room. Eddy, do you believe war is the right move? War with Xizor? It is hard to take you seriously at that size, Zafson. You are a pest, he yells as he returns to full size. There are pros and cons to this, of course. Let us talk as we walk to the conference hall. The duo walk out of the room and into a skyway with open viewing for the airplanes that used to fly in this old abandoned airport. They walk past an old abandoned jewelry store in the airport. The jewelry had been cleared out by looters, but Zapson stops to look at the pretty model with jet black hair. What could Xizor be thinking? Letting himself get recrowned like that onto a weaker host at that? There is likely data only the two of them have as to what led to that, Eddy replies. On the ship, he spoke of things like keeping up with me. It is a surprise for sure. So a pro would be getting the upper edge of Xizor while he is not expecting us. However, a con would be that we do not know the details of this being that Xizor has. What if Xizor can somehow use this thing's power to best us? True. And if I am somehow defeated, and we have a mass of soldiers and scholars, then they could gain control of my army. We clearly have some planning to do, Eddy says. The walk is long in this massive port of ours. Me being defeated is not an option, Zafxen says. That is optimistic. Do not forget that all 4 of you leaders are worthy candidates to be the next Allfather. At least, that is what our Lord thought. Comets are slow. Big ones can be, but their power goes beyond just calling down comets. Yes, the ability to catch one while keeping its force is tough. Or the ability to fly, Eddy says. Xizor will not know all my tricks. My particle exercises and planning always bored him. Xizor can be dense, Eddy says. Yes, indeed, but he does have drive, I can say that much. He will not lie down as we wreak havoc on his compound. There may be a better way to do this. They enter a large room full of old art pieces and a large skylight. I am always open to ideas. Invading with an army comes with the risk you mentioned. If you are killed by Xizor and his army, they can easily call another hunter down and force you to revive into a different body. Yes, and switching bodies is miserable. It hurts and we are weak for a while, as we regain our memories. Not a setback I can afford. But I need to play devil's advocate for a second here. So if you are defeated, and we have a massive army there, they now have all our might we have gained plus their own. He would immediately have the biggest army. If so, Zafxen says somberly. Yes. So if the goal is to learn of what Xizor is keeping, and then ultimately take it from him, we could do a stealth mission. Why stealth if I can best him? Do you want to best him or take his foreign object? Both, kinda actually, Zafxen says snidely. Well, I cannot control you, but I think a combination of both of our ideas would be ideal. How about a stealth invasion? I teleport in and locate the object. A diversion would make that more likely to work. If I teleport there from here, I will be down a substantial amount of fluid. I will then need to transport myself and the object back here. Your plan only works if I spend some time there to get my fluid back. I wasn't finished with my plan. When you teleport there, do so with 5 to 6 super soldiers. They can keep the ranks distracted while you snuff out the object. Relax and restore fluid and then teleport back here. Just like that, huh? Easier said than done. If I'm face to face with Xizor without fluid, he will crush me. We will make sure we do this right. No mistakes. I got your back, cuz, Eddy says with a smile. Yes, I mustn't lose ferocity. He will go down and I will take his object. The duo arrive at a high platform looking down into a large open area. The area is full of over 1 million soldiers and scholars. Hunter crowns patrol the sky above. Before we get started, can you finish your story about Xemezian? What was he doing when you all were studying the human brain? He treats humans like swine, worth nothing more than some calories. He ate it? Yep. In a way. Humans aren't so bad. Their bodies allow us to harbor. Maybe I will let him down from the tree more often.